I'm back again with another discussion about India America relations and how things are going between India and America over the last few days. Now, today is Monday, the 18th of August. Now, one of the latest developments as of today is Donald Trump, President of the United States, POTUS, has met Zelensky, the Ukrainian president. And finally, it has come to a conclusion that probably the Russia Ukraine war is going to come to an end. Now, having said that, today is also the day when Vladimir Putin of Russia and Indian head of the state, technically the de facto ruler of India, Prime Minister Honorable Narendra Modi, they both had a meeting, and Modi thanked Putin for all the support that India has gotten. Putin thanked Modi for all the support India has given to them. At the same time, a third development is Chinese Foreign Minister Yang Yi is finally coming to India after 3 years. So much is happening in the world now. Finally, after a lot of arguments and discussions and suspicions over each other, all the countries are coming to a term that they've reached the peak and nothing else can be done. So America is toning down its negative approach towards the world. Um, China, India, the dragon and the elephant are finally coming together to discuss about what needs to be done further. Now, let us take a quick overview of what Trump's plan or Trump's recent tariffs on India were all about between India and US. Now, on the 6th of August 2025, President Donald Trump of United States escalated tariffs on many of the Indian goods by adding an additional 25%, making it 50% on Indian goods. And Trump's justification for this was that India continued to purchase Russian oil, which obviously Trump thinks is what is feeding Russia's war effort in Ukraine. And in order to weaken Russia, he said this. Now, first set of 25% tariffs came in effect on the 7th of August. Now, the second set of that, a, a, an extra 25%, is going to come to effect on 27th of August 2025. Now, these tariffs are obviously the highest ever imposed by US on any trading partner, affecting a broad range of products, including textiles, gems, jewelry, furniture, dairy, leather exports, including service sectors like IT services, pharmaceutical services, um, electronics, everything. Now, what is the impact of these tariffs? Now, the tariffs threaten India's $87 billion annual exports to US. That's about 2.5% of India's GDP. And this could make almost all major exports economically unviable if implemented in full reasoning, potentially resembling a trade embargo on many sectors of India. So technically, it's like restricting India from doing trade with America uh, on similar lines like how Venezuela or Cuba are treated with. Now, second problem, or second biggest impact on India would be the GDP growth. Now, India's GDP growth could drop by zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.5 percentage points as per the estimates. Now, currently it's 6.5%, it may come down to 6%. Primarily, engineering exports alone from India could decline by $4 to $5 billion. Small and medium enterprises are obviously the most impacted. They're the dominant in the affected sectors. They face the brunt and reduced competitiveness against Vietnam and Bangladesh, the two largest competitors of India, where tariffs are lower. Now, on the macroeconomic front, the pressure on rupee risks to inflation and increased borrowing costs, primarily for Indian companies with foreign debt exposure. When we see the policy response, obviously India has criticized the tariffs as unfair, unjustified, and unreasonable. And many of the Indian exporters front loaded shipments to US. I mean, they sent it before the final tariffs could come in, causing a surge prior to the new duties. India argued its oil imports are essential for its energy needs, and the government has indicated that it won't back down under pressure. Now, India is one country which is known for this. And the chances of India actually backing down under pressure from Donald Trump seems to be very little. Now, when we see the impact on United States, US inflation has obviously already started showing its impact pretty badly. Now, US inflation has risen, with Yale Budget Lab estimating an additional $2,400 annual cost to the American households just from tariffs, particularly clothing and textiles, which are the most affected. Now, Donald Trump has projected these tariffs as that India will be paying for the tariffs. Now, technically, what he has done is in tariffs, that's how it works. In tariffs, at the end of the day, the end consumer in the country which is putting the tariff will be the consumer who will pay the taxes. Now, same in this US India dispute, it is American customers who will eventually pay the tariffs. Within America, the job growth, obviously, thanks to increase in annual expenses, job growth has slowed down. Construction spending nearly fell down by 3% over the past year. Manufacturing jobs have completely declined, and administration promises and all the promises of cheaper cost of living, which is what Donald Trump said at the time of coming to vote, have failed. And US growth estimates for 2025 have fallen by 14% from 2.8%. They're now expecting it to fall down as low as 1.4%. And at this stage, the tariff related impact on US economy seems to be huge. Now, you must understand, always remember that the tariffs are not being just put on India, although India faces the highest. Brazil, Mexico, China, Canada, UK, not a single country has been left out by America. Everybody has put on, Donald Trump has put tariffs on. Some sectors, especially like automation, automotive parts, retail, have started to rework their network supply chains. Primarily, like organizations like Walmart, Amazon have already started to see the impact of tariffs, and they've started moving all that impact onto the American customers, which obviously is leading to a very significant retail inflation. Now, what's the global impact of all this issue? Trump's tariff moves are causing trade tensions, particularly in the world, and countries are exporting less to US. They're no longer they've started to see US as not so significant market, and there's also a counter effect of this tariffs is now the exporting countries have started to diversify their markets. Like for example, they're looking for new markets while Europe is erecting its own trade barriers in response. There is exemplified surge in the expansion of market, particularly by Chinese companies, particularly by Indian companies, where they're now looking for newer markets like say Latin world or Africa, new places where they could sell their goods. Now, global supply chains are now entirely reworking itself, and as exporters are seeking alternatives with increased protectionism, there could be a potential domino effect across the world. Every country, if it goes through protectionism, then it would be an eventual threat to what is called the globalization and global capitalism. And the tariffs aim at putting pressure on India on Russian oil. But one of the significant things is, from World Trade Organization to every country in the world have always stood against using economic pressures to adjust geopolitical problems, because economy should run as it is. That's always been the principle of World Trade Organizations. Now, if we see how the impact is on India, the GDP growth will be down by 0.2 to 0.5%. Export competitiveness will be hurt very badly. There will be significant pressure on rupee. Small and medium enterprises are at a greater risk. When it comes to US, Obviously there'll be very high consumer cost. An average American household will start spending at least an extra $2,400 per household. It will be higher inflation, which will obviously slow down the growth, which will create lesser jobs in America. Overall, in the world, there will be a global slowdown. There will be protectionism. It may lead to trigger protectionism, which is with protectionism does not sit in line with the capitalist world. It's more a socialist, communist model, and eventually this will lead to trade tensions. The overall trajectory for this India-US tariff dispute looks negative. India, as an export engine, is being threatened. American consumers are paying more. The global economy is slowing down, and the concept of protectionism and strained relationship is always a threat to the global politics and the world peace. There could be further ripple effects depending on how countries respond, with real risk of more nations raising down their own barriers and deepening economic uncertainty for everyone. We will have to sit and wait and watch now. After the Alaska summit between Russia and America, probably, although the media is not really highlighting anything significant as a change, maybe some pawns have been moved, some coins have been moved, and some backdoor discussions have happened. And there is, however, one benefit in this. While in the short term, this could be a global slowdown, in the long term, countries like BRICS nations or alternative countries other than America will start finding out new markets, diversification of market, and the overall impact, if you observe in this entire dispute, America as an important nation, economically and geopolitically, seems to be threatened now. Keep watching. Yeah, subscribe to me on this channel, and I'll discuss with you more about some of the important happenings of geopolitics in the world on this very channel. Like, share, and subscribe. This is your guy, RK. I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.